time to start building my shop. I'm excited. It should be really nice. Let's see, here's the pad. I'll show you, I'll turn the camera around and I'll show you what it looks like and what I had to consider while getting this built so that the metal building would work well on it. So the first thing to consider was you need a level spot to have a pad. They will install it, I believe, on a level pad that isn't concrete. I wouldn't recommend it if you're dropping the money on it. But if so, take a look at this. This is how much fill dirt I had to put in. It's not an insignificant amount of fill dirt. I was more than happy to do it and pay for it to get done. So I had, this is a 40 by 50 concrete pad. You can see, don't mind all my weeds. I'm gonna have to mow quite a bit once it dries up. But you can see back at this corner here, this is the back of the building. I'm gonna have a 10-foot overhang. So it's 50 feet. Back here about is the 40-foot mark where the edge of the building is, and then there'll be an overhang to the back. So it's 40 feet from there to about here, 40 feet straight across, 40 feet. So 40 by 40 is the building. And I'll build by myself a 10-foot overhang on the back later when I have more money, which is a good option for having more storage off the back and being able to save up money to build out that overhang later on. But this concrete, what they do often with these metal buildings is my 40-foot dimension is on the inside of this here, so that the metal, the bottom of the metal building goes here, but the metal sheet tucks into here. And this helps keep out water and moisture. It also helps keep out bugs, although you might have to fill in some of the hole there with foam or something. So first thing I did is had dirt work done, level pad. Got a concrete guy to do it out here in Mena, Arkansas. And before I did all that, I knew on TubeStructures that I had planned a 40 by 40 building that I liked. Another thing is I had planned out my doorways for garage doors. I have 3 garage doors going in. And so you can see this has a slant to it to help drain out water and make the entry into it easier. I'm gonna have to have more gravel work done here to make the approach and eventually concrete, but I wanted to show you. Here's gonna be a 10-foot door in the middle. I'm gonna have a 12-foot one. See, it's a little bit wider. And then the last one is another 10-foot one, 10 to 10. So I'm excited. They're gonna be bringing a lift, and they'll be able to park that here. You have to consider either renting a lift or they add an extra price on it. I think it was $18.50 for mine to rent a lift for a week. And so you got to have room to be able to park that. You have to consider clearance from power lines. Just check, so you have a power line here that goes kind of next to the pad, but I checked that clearance with them. That is a consideration. Put the pads ready to go. Another thing to consider is when you're ordering it, they'll ask if you have any power nearby, and I do on the house. I have an outlet over here on the house. And another thing to consider, these are things on the contract, and as you're filling out the forms, is they need a restroom. They have a crew that are coming here and they're gonna need a restroom while they're working. So if you're at a remote spot where you don't have a house built, like you just have a new property that you're cutting in and building a shop, you'll have to pay to have a porta potty put in. But if it's next to your house, just be prepared to let a working crew use your restroom for a week. Not a big deal. I'm glad to help out and do that. Can't wait to have my shop started though. I'll give you updates once that's going. You can see some of my old concrete here is going to be filling in a low spot there. Looks kind of gnarly there. Yep, filling in that front and making an approach will be the next thing after the building's built. Morning. Sitting out here on my porch drinking coffee, looking at my view. Waiting for the building crew to show up. Pretty excited. I'm interested to see how many people they send for a 40 by 40 building. They're gonna try to get it done in 5 days. Today's Tuesday, and they should be done by Saturday. Friday, I bet, if everything went perfect, but seems like a 2 or 3 person minimum job, but maybe they send more to get it done quickly. But just sitting, hanging out, waiting for them to show up.
Bottles and Bibles litter the floor, and all-night revival passed out around 4. Now the preacher's been drinking, but it's hard not to do.
Morning. So this is the beginning of, let's see, it's the 3rd day of building. They'd be along farther, but the lift company had some confusion and didn't get the lift here till yesterday. I wanted to show you the difference in legs here. This is a taller building. This is a 16-foot sidewall. A sidewall is up to, let's see, probably considered the bottom edge of that rafter there, kind of the lowest part of your ceiling. But these legs are called ladder legs, and they provide more strength for you when you have taller sidewalls, or at any time, but especially when you have taller sidewalls like 16 foot. Some companies, I mean, this one would do it too if you wanted. You can get what they call double legs. Double legs are like this, 2 of these smashed together, and I forget if they're side by side or if it would go right here on the side. And it's nowhere near the same amount of strength. It'd be like kind of like at the end wall here. So this is the end of my shop. This end, like 2 of these together. But when I built it, I requested the ladder legs, which was important to me for the strength. But I want to show you that shop's coming along well. They put all of those strings of metal up there. I don't know what that's purlins. I forget all the terminology. But they're gonna do the same thing over here, a similar thing over here. But instead of putting something across the face of it, they're going to put them inside the wall here. So they're going to cut more of these extra tubes and go from here to here, all the way to receive the metal. So I don't know if that's every 4 feet up or how that works. See, also they have straps to square up the building to put on the tin, which is cool. So this morning they're going to build out this front wall. You can see between my garage doors here, they have the piece there, so there'll be a wall that goes up here. See right here, it's the other piece. So they're going to build up from there and build out this wall, and we'll see how the rest of it comes up.
Lonesome song. I'm leaving you. I'm leaving you. This lonesome song. I'm leaving
clouds here. First rain where it's dry in here in a while, so that's pretty cool. All right, last night they finished up. They worked from about 6:30 in the morning till about 9:30 at night, and they wrapped up the building and headed back home to Nacogdoches. I wanted to show you the building and what to expect and a few surprises I had since I don't know this world. First off, you'll see when they're building it, they have to snap chalk lines, so there'll be red there for a little bit until it washes off, but it washes off. That's fine. First off, the colors. The side is pewter gray, and the trim is Quaker gray, which is the darker gray. For me, it really looks great. For me, it sort of matched my house color here, so that looked good. Let's go inside here and we'll open it up. I don't have power or lights in here yet, so we'll open the door so we can see everything with enough light coming in. I wanted to show you this door is the standard door that comes with it. It's not fancy. It's got a little window you can see through. This is my building here. Let me open up the garage door. So you'll notice I had a 10 by 10 garage door, a 12 by 12 in the middle, and another 10 by 10. You'll notice these are set up like for, I don't know, for locking from the outside. So by default, you have to lock it from the outside. There's always ways to get around that from the inside, but I'll show you what you can do. But that was a surprise to me, that it's set up essentially for like a storage unit, you know what I mean? Our center door is 12 by 12, and this one's handled from the inside by a chain. Open that up. There's locks on the floor. Ultimately, I want to put openers on these, which would handle all that. Handle locking and opening it for the most part. See if I can open this. So these are open. If I can do this. Oh, okay. So they're set up nice. So the balance pretty well. I'm going slow because at the end it wants to slam up. Okay. There we go. And then the last door will pull up. Now we can see. So when you can see, I still have some dirt work to do to get into here, but you can see my concrete guy made it so it's sloped in. I think that's definitely a needed thing to keep water out of here so that the garage doors sit in that sloped part. But this is the inside, 40 by 40 by 16. I think I mentioned in an earlier video that I requested ladder legs. Brings a lot more security to it, a lot more strength. The other option is what they call double legs, where it's two of these. I don't don't know if it's out this way or to the side, probably out this way, right? And so it takes up less space. This question of how are you going to finish the inside walls with this? It's not a big deal, but the gain in strength is incredible. I've put together pole buildings with wood poles, and when you put those together until you get the tin on, generally they'll sway a bit, like if you're climbing up it and working on it. This, before even the tin was on, this thing was solid. I was really impressed. You got to appreciate that metal doesn't change much with weather, doesn't change much from when it's put together, so that when they installed it true and plumb, and it just made the whole thing go pretty quick, because then when everything's true and plumb and the right size, the tin just goes on. Don't have to worry as much. So you'll notice, if you're always worried about clearance with these ones, they have these little legs here. I'm not sure if those actually do much. It would help with racking side to side. I have a feeling it's more for during installation while they're lifting them up there, but I'm not a structural engineer. So I'm sure people could remove those and do okay if they have the ladder leg set up, but I'm not a structural engineer. But either way, for me, the clearance, it's a 16-foot sidewall up at the top, but the actual clearance, if those were gone, is pretty incredible. I don't know if that's 20 feet, because the bottom of that truss is way up there. So my kids will be able to shoot basketballs in here. They'll be excited about that. And for me, it leaves room. I'm gonna put a loft across the back with an office above it, so I have a place to work and maybe not have kids in my office all day long. And then also underneath, with that above, underneath, I can have a workspace here, workbenches. I'll have a room probably with the air compressor in it, and maybe that'll keep some of the noise down. So there's that. I got 2 man doors. Like I said, I don't love the man doors. They're fine. They work. For me, I had them do it 40 foot by 40 foot, but my pad's 50 feet long. To save money, I'm gonna either have them do it. I want to build it myself. We'll see how that works out. But an overhang off the back here, so I can keep firewood back here. I can keep whatever I want out here that doesn't care if it's out in the fresh air. Not worried about people stealing. Let's see, what else? So I got my 3 windows there. There's my truck that'll be parked in here. And again, you can see how when you have the concrete poured, you need to have a notch here ideally. This notch allows the steel to go past the edge of the building, because the building's sitting on top of this. It notches down in here, and then like last night while they're finishing, it was pouring rain, and it'll pour down the side, hit there, but it can't wick back up inside like it would if it was flush. Like, unfortunately, with this side here, it had to be flush because of how it worked out. I'm sure concrete guy could have come up with another way to do it, but that was fine. What we did is we put this concrete caulking down first before they even, when they had the beam down the bottom, we put the concrete caulking down to seal it up, and I think that's done pretty good. There's one corner I didn't get well. This whole side stayed dry on the inside. This one didn't, so I'm gonna, all right, it cut off, but I'm gonna pull this trim off, and somehow I think I can see where I stopped a little shy for some reason, and really get that also, yeah. So that's considerations with your slab. Make sure you get it notched if you could. Like I was saying, it's the true dimensions from notch to notch was 40 inches. From the top of here to the top of the other side was 40 inches. And how deep it is they put a 2x2. So what's the true size of a 2x2 piece of wood when you built the form? Like this here? No, that's something else. Like 1.5 by 1.5. Yep, so I'm excited. I'm excited. Got to get power in here. A consideration with these is I'm sure I'm going to deal with a little bit of sweating where this metal, if this tin up top, if there's a temperature difference enough where moisture wants to stick to the roof, it'll rain down on your stuff. And so that's why you got to get some insulation up there. I'm really gonna have to have a lift to get up that high. So that's a consideration with these tin buildings. And then other than that, that's what it's been like ordering through TubeStructures.com. I will probably show you the website and how I interacted with Haley ordering. But I'm very excited, can't wait to keep on moving on this. It's a beautiful structure, I love it. All right, out.
I'm leaving you, this lonesome song, I'm leaving